Hi guys, I'm Tahseen.
And I'm John.
Welcome to our channel Millennial E.I.R.E, where we give practical tips on reaching financial independence and early retirement. So if you guys haven't put it together yet, today is our anniversary and it's been an amazing 6 years together and we look forward to spending a lifetime together.
Best decision I ever made in my life.
And we wanted to share one of the most important things that we've learned in our marriage is that open communication and being united in life decisions is key, especially when it comes to managing finances.
And as many of us already know, one of the leading causes of divorce in this country is financial issues. And we truly believe that a big part of this could be solved with open communication. But for some reason, talking about finances is very, very taboo, and people want to keep that sheltered. But of course, when you're in a loving relationship, a loving marriage, you got to be open so you guys can progress and move forward together. So in this video, we're going to be giving you guys 7 tips and strategies that we've used over our 6 years of marriage to effectively and happily manage our finances. So stay tuned.
So tip number 1 is to discuss where you are financially. And in this discussion, there are 4 questions that you want to ask each other. First question is how much you make. This is so important because now you guys are working as a team. So you have to know what you're working with to know if the goals that you're trying to reach are attainable. And when we were doing research on finances and marriage, we came across an alarming statistic that 33% of spouses don't know what their partner makes. But if you want to be successful together in your finances, you should lay all your cards on the table. The second question is, how much debt do you have, or what do you owe? And this includes student loans, car loans, if you borrowed money from a friend or a neighbor, all this should be included, because when you make a decision to be someone's partner, and more specifically to marry someone, now you're taking on that debt as well. The third question that you want to ask is, what do you own? And this includes a house, a car, a boat, anything of value that you own. Lay it on the table, because just like a liability can hold both of you guys back, an asset can help move you guys further in your journey to financial independence. So lay all these cards on the table. And the last thing that you want to ask your partner is, what is your credit score? This is super important whenever you're looking to finance something. If you guys are, for example, wanting to buy a house, your partner's credit score is going to affect you, and your credit score affects them, because when a loan officer is giving you a loan, they take the lowest credit score, and that's how they decide whether or not they approve you for the loan or what your interest rate is. And if you have a conversation early on, if someone does have a low credit score, this is something that you can work on and that you can fix so that you can meet your goals.
And if neither one of you know what your credit score is right now, there are plenty of ways to figure that out. A lot of banks now offer you your FICO score for free. And if your bank doesn't, you can go to creditkarma.com. I'm going to have the link in the description below, and they'll give you an estimate of what your credit score is. And another very important thing about this entire conversation is to be open and not be judgmental. Like we said in the beginning, this is a very taboo topic, and some of these questions may be sensitive for your partner. But if you guys are truly trying to be successful on this journey, be open to accept anything that your partner has on the table and know that you guys can attack it and become successful together. So tip number 2 is understanding your relationship with money. And with this is something you have to be open and honest with yourself before you're even open and honest with your partner. So for me personally, in college, I made enough money to survive, but I often had eviction notices and woke up with no utilities because I couldn't afford to pay the bill because I spent the money elsewhere. And in my mind at that time, I was great with money, but obviously I wasn't. And even in marriage, I would be willing to spend anything for this young lady beside me. I would spend every last penny in my pocket, and I thought it was romantic, and I still think it is. But it would not be.
When we have goals.
Yes, it would not be a part of our financial independence goals. And so this is where the partner part comes in. She knows and understands my weakness in that. And so even when I'm trying to do things like that, she'll come in and say, look, babe, I understand that's really sweet, that's really romantic, but I would be happier if this went toward our financial independence goals. And so understand your weaknesses, understand your partner's weaknesses, understand your strengths, understand your partner's strengths, so you guys can work together to be as successful as possible.
Tip number 3 is to avoid financial infidelity. Financial infidelity is dishonesty or secrecy about money with your partner. This is something that literally breaks marriages apart. And so it's so important to be open about all your spending and all of your income, that you're not stashing money in a separate savings account or accruing debt that your partner knows nothing about.
And so with doing this, the way it makes it easier for us is that we just combine all of our money. Like, all of our accounts are together. We have logins to each other's accounts, and that works for us. We have this rule that pretty much we have $100 to spend and do whatever we want to, no questions asked, per paycheck. But if it exceeds that, we just have a quick conversation. And that's been something that really helped us. And we call this a fun money fund. We actually got the idea from some of our other friends. It's another couple that uses this as well, and it's worked out really great for them. So whether you have your accounts together or separate, the most important part of this is just being open about your finances, because financial infidelity can mess up your entire financial independence journey.
So tip number 4 is to set a financial goal together. When setting a goal, the method that we use, which we talked about in our last video, but we'll briefly go over it, it's setting a SMART goal. S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for attainable, R stands for relatable, and T stands for time bound. And so for those of you that have been watching our channel for some time, you probably know that our financial goal is to reach financial independence by the age of 40. Your goal may be to buy your first house, or buy your first investment property, or reach financial independence by a certain age as well. Whatever your goal is, make sure that you guys set it together and both truthfully agree on it, because this goal is going to help get you guys through the rough times of your finances. And if you need help deciding on a goal, you can start with our tip number 5, which is to set and stick to a budget.
So with that, like we said in almost every single video we've done, a budget is one of the most vital tools to being successful on your financial independence journey. So we have a video above that goes through every detail on how to set up a budget, and start with the goal of just simply sticking to your budget and optimizing that budget. Tip number 6 is to designate financial responsibilities in your household. So when I originally got married, I said originally like I've been married more than once, but when we got married, I wanted to be her Superman. So I managed paying the bills. I managed the budget. The only budget I had was in my head. It's a bad idea for having a budget, but I managed that in my head. So between that, being a musician, starting working full time, starting a second business, I began to get overwhelmed, and I didn't realize until Tahseen came to me and noticed how overwhelmed I was becoming that I had a partner that could help me with this. And I realized that we're on this journey together. So she took over paying the bills and starting to manage the budget, and it made us so much more efficient in our journey. So moving forward in our journey, we decided that she handles managing the budget. But that doesn't mean I'm not included. We still have our budget meetings all the time, and I give my input. And she handles paying the bills, and I handle tracking and updating our net worth. And that's something that's worked out very, very well for us.
Tip number 7 is to evaluate and reevaluate. Every single one of these tips 1 through 6, are things that you want to constantly be hitting on. You want to constantly be having conversations about this. So we do it monthly, but we recommend that at the least you should be doing it quarterly. So if there's any new debts that have come up, there's no questions about it. You can avoid financial infidelity just having open conversations about this regularly. And on your goals, they might not exactly be the same every time you meet and reevaluate them, because as you learn and as you grow, your goals evolve with you. And so our goals are not exactly the same as they were when we first got married, because we've learned and we've grown, and we've had to tweak our goals according to our new way of thinking.
And it's really important when it comes down to the budget too. We've been budgeting for years, and even to this day, we have a budget meeting once a month, and I'm like, I really did not spend that much money on food. I couldn't have spent that much money on food. But I wouldn't know that I still need to tweak and work on things if we didn't have that reevaluation process. So we really hope that you guys have enjoyed and learned a tip that you can use in your financial independence journey as a couple. And if there's anything that you feel like we missed, please leave a comment below, because we're interested to learn from you guys as well. Because like we said, we're constantly growing and constantly evolving in this financial independence journey. And until next time, thank you guys for tuning in. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can know when we post our next video. And we see you guys next time.
See you next time.